Hey, lovely people. Hey. Welcome to another episode of Gym Time with myself, Debbie, and my brother, Maurice. I should have just said my brother, and then you should have said, hey, Maurice.
Yeah, but you're running away with my name. Yes, I'm Maurice. I'm Debbie's younger brother.
No, you're not. Everyone knows that you're not anyway. So hi to everyone that is joining us live on Instagram. Hi, Donnie over there. For those of you who are on YouTube, please let us know who you are, where you're chiming in from. Or you might not want to tell us who you are. You might just want to let us know where you're chiming in from. It will be great to know who's joining us. So Paul's joining us from where?
All the way from Egypt still. And we're still out here. This is our last night. So it's ending on a good note as well. We've had a fantastic time. As you can see, the sun's been kissing me up. I've been hugging back as well. It's good. After everything, it's a good break for us.
So I wanted to say, for those of you who've never joined us on Gym Time before, Gym Time is all about us sharing about relationships. So like we go deep. We don't do any surface stuff. We talk deep stuff about relationships, And it's just having those real conversations that is necessary. And sometimes, like, because both my brother and I are both Christians, sometimes conversations that we have in church about relationships, they don't want to talk about certain issues. So we decided that we are going to be the ones that just share. So we
Absolutely.
always have a disclaimer every week, and I will start. So, we're not no psychologists here, even though I'm a counselor. I'm not a trained psychologist. I'm a mentor, I'm a coach, I'm a public speaker. I do all of those things. But what I do know is that I have experience of marriage, divorce, separation, all of those things, children, all the shabam. I have the whole experience, the whole 9 yards. And so I don't know everything, but what I do know, I will absolutely share with you. So we say that as a disclaimer, because if you try some of the methods that we share with you and it doesn't work for you, do not come back to bite our heads off. So we're just putting it out there. But the thing is, we do want you to try something different, try something new, like elevate your minds, do something different, especially if you're stuck in a rut. Try and do something different. And we give lots of examples and we speak about real issues, probably some things that we haven't been through, but we certainly will bring a conversation to you that, we've heard of, or we know of somebody else that has experienced. So we might just researched it. So over to you, bro.
Yes, I second what Debbie said as well. Um, exactly that. We're not trained counselors. I'm a life coach. And obviously I do motivational speaking. I mean, like for talk, you know, but exactly that. It's trying to apply these things. And it's not just for Christians, and it's not just for married people. It is for you who are looking to get into relationships or in a relationship with somebody, but not married. But these things still apply. They still apply to your lives or what you're going to go through somewhere in the future, or you might have gone through some of it as well. We all make mistakes. We all fall short. And so we're here to just share some of the shortcomings, some of the experiences that we've encountered or applied to our life or applying as well. So as my sister said, if you do try to uh, apply them to your relationship and it doesn't work, don't come and cut off my neck. Yeah, that's my disclaimer. Don't cut my neck. You try something. Try. It is all about communication. Anyway, over
Absolutely.
to you. Like, share, subscribe, and
Yeah, so we
hello.
really ask you to just share it with your contacts, with your followers, so that we can increase our followers. We was doing this last year, but then my brother had a stroke, and so we've been off for a better part of a year, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it's over now.
Yeah, so we was off for a while, but there were so many people who was asking us to basically bring it back, and so it's by popular demand that we're back, and we're trying to get our numbers back up. So we really appreciate it if you can just work with us, partner with us, and share, and subscribe as
Definitely.
well, and hit the notification button so that every time we are live, you will know about it. So Paul, you might not know, but we are live on Instagram. So say hi to
Okay. Hello to everyone in Instagram world, and the YouTube again, live, and everybody who is on the platform. Sonia, Michael, I can't see who else is there, but
everyone.
hello to you all. Yes, good evening, good night, because it is nighttime here. It's 10:30, quarter to 11. You lot are early, man. You lot we're knackered there as well, but I didn't want to leave it. I mean, we missed 2 sessions and we've only done 1 session. So hence why my wife has allowed me to come on, even though we're on holiday as well.
I
And
know
I
that.
say aloud. I had to ask permission. Some women will say,
No,
"What do you mean
so you
asking
should
permission for?"
though. So you should. You're on
Because
holiday.
it's not just my holiday. But yes, I asked, and my wife politely answered in the way that she did. Um, and I'm on anyway. No, not really.
Michael said, you. So Sonia said, "Wow, glad you're all having a great time." And she said, "Hi, Catherine." And then Michael said, you'd look like hypocrites if you're dishing up advice, but with no real experience. Good,
That's
bad, or
right.
ugly experience shares enriches us, not cutting hair low." So he's like, he's not ready to cut off your neck at all. And then he said, "Paul, you're not in Sheffield." No, he's in the sunny islands of Egypt.
Yes.
So right, we are going to crack on with the show. And would you like to share it with them, Paul?
Well, what part? What part?
Well,
What?
well,
8 signs you don't love your spouse. Um, some people will say, yes, I do love my spouse. These are the things, again, we're taking the content from the word of God as well. 1 Corinthians 13:4. And we read that last week. And if you haven't seen that show, please do look at that show and then follow on. You'll catch up to speed of what we're saying this week. So these are the negative sides of it, and of whether you are what's a better word, living like this, the negative side of love, because love, as I'm going to say, first one is
I wouldn't
envy.
even say the negative side of love. I would just simply say there is no love. There is no love in it at all.
Would you say that then that individual's not understanding what real love is?
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think there's a negative side to love.
Mm,
Do you get what I
okay.
mean? I just think either you're loving or you're not.
Okay. The reason why I said negative is exactly that. It's either you're loving or you're not. It's a negative, isn't it? If you're not loving someone. But then again, you saying to someone, I love you, and not understanding what love is a negative.
I hear you.
No? Yeah.
I,
I was,
I
I,
just I just said I wouldn't say it's the negative side of love. I would just say it's you not
it's
loving.
not loving.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. This is what me and Debbie do. We talk like this as well, and we bounce back, and we either agree to disagree, or we agree that we're both right in what we're saying anyway. So here we go.
Go on.
So envy, love does not envy.
So can you read what we were sharing last week so it can be in context?
Okay. Now I have to. Have you got it up already?
I have.
Okay.
So
Well, you read it.
all right, 1 Corinthians 13:4 and 7. And the reason why we read from this isn't just because we're Christians, but just to understand what love looks like. And so we found I've read numerous amount of books, and all of these books actually are taking it from the biblical concept of
Concept.
love. So regardless of whether you're Christian or not, you will find that you're going to have these books, and it's going to tell you about principles, but what they're taking the principles from is the word of God, just as much as they take principles of wealth from the word of God. Many people's heard the book The Secret. They've taken principles from the word of God. So we believe that God is our creator, and so we go back to the creator's manual on what he says love is, and how we should be demonstrating love, and what love looks like and what it doesn't look like. So 1 Corinthians 13:4 and 7 says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And that's the New International Version, because there's many versions. And we are just reading it from the New International Version, which gave us eight signs, 8 points of why you're not loving your spouse. If you are thinking that you're loving your spouse and you are doing these things, we are here to help to correct that. So
Yes.
last week we touched on the 7 ways that you can love your spouse, and like my brother said, if you go back and you read that, you will find out that love is patient, love is kind, all of these amazing things, and you cannot go wrong when you are being patient, when you're being kind, when you're trusting, and you're rejoicing in their truth, and you have hope. You can't go wrong. But this is how you can go wrong if you are not applying those positive elements of love. So over to you
Absolutely.
then, bro.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to look at, the first one we're going to look at is envy.
Hmm.
Are you envious of your significant other? And the definition, which was from the Webster's, I believe, dictionary, um, painful or resentful. You see, right there, right there, don't right there, that word right there, resentful, resentfulness. I know I've been there. You know, I resented what this person has done to me, and that was what it was for me, what they have done or doing to me. But love doesn't envy. You know, so was I in love? Hmm. Painful or resentful? This is just one definition. I don't know if you've got one as well, Debbie. Painful or resentful, awareness of an advantage enjoyed by another, joined with a desire to possess the same advantage, an object, or um, envious notice or feeling. Yeah. So a desire to possess the same advantage, an object, or envious notice of feelings. Are you envying? Are you envying the person because they've got an advantage? You think they have an advantage over you? Are you looking at your spouse and speaking to them like you're more than they are? Because of what you have, your possessions, etc. You know, did you have any definitions on it as well, Debbie, on envy?
Pretty much like what you said. To
Yeah.
envy is to feel resentful, unhappy because someone else possesses or have achieved what one wishes oneself to possess or to have achieved. To envy
And
the wealth, a woman's beauty, a honest man's reputation, just
mm,
examples of envying. But when we bring it down to your relationship, it could be various different things why.
things that you have, you're popular, more popular than what you are. People gravitate to him or her more. You know, if they gravitate to either one, I said this week to someone here in Egypt. If I win, my wife wins. If she loses, I lose. What's the point of me fighting the person who's in my corner, you know, championing me on because they're my wife or the husband, and I'm tearing her down. If I tear her down, then I tear down myself. We're living in the same house and not sleeping in the same bed. That's a whole different show right there. You know, well, I'm losing. How can I be married and I'm separated in my house? How can I be married and I'm look at you. You think you're all nice. Look at you. You're all dressed up. No, 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 no. So if you are envious, I'm gonna say it like this: you need to stop it. You need to stop it. Yeah. This is your partner. This is the person that you said, I love you, or I love you, baby. I love you too. Yeah. And as much as I'm making fun with it, it's the truth. This is your significant other. Yeah. That you have said the words, I love you. If you haven't said it, you need to make sure that you don't have these things in your life when you do, if you do. you know so over to you, Debbie.
Yeah, so that's the first one that we're going to be bringing up. So we've got envy. The second one is um, it does not boast. So
Mm,
the thing is, there's a difference between you acknowledging, you know, the great things that you're doing, and you know, you explaining, oh, you know, I've managed to do this, and so forth. But it is the excessiveness of pride and self-satisfaction. That is what boasting is. It's like you are, the Bible says, let another man's mouth praise you. You know, when it's the excessiveness, oh, did you see that I did this? Did you look at how awesome I am? Look at this, look at that. Where you're, and you know what I think on the backside of you being boastful like that is you being negative towards that person, that you puff yourself up, that there's this sense of pride. So it says on here to boast, just a English dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary definition, to talk excessive pride and self-satisfaction about one's achievement, possessions, or ability. Brag, it says brag,
I had that
show
as well.
off, and yeah, I think that it is that excessiveness. So like I said in the beginning, it's not that you can't, you know, say, you know what, I did really well on this exam, or I think I really hit the mark at work, or you know, those kind of things. Those are standard. It is excessive. It is the excessiveness. And I don't think I could take somebody that is boastful, even though I call my brother Bossy.
Yeah, she does.
I
But
do.
you
I
know
call
what?
him Brother Bosie
He
because
only calls me that
he,
if I put on a suit. Yeah,
no, no,
when I'm
no,
with.
because he dresses really well and he has a swag about him. So I always say that he's quite boastful, but he dresses well, and he carries himself very well. So I always call
Okay.
him like Brother Bosie, you
It's
know,
an
and
inside joke.
he walks like, you know, someone with like proper stature, you know what I mean? He's got a good swag about him. So I do say Brother Bosie, but he's not puffed up. He's not like, wow, look at me, I'm this awesome guy, blah, blah, blah. Even though the positive self-talk is awesome, you always must be encouraging yourself and revering yourself to some degree, but not being
Excessively.
boastful
Yeah. Do, you-
excessively. Yeah.
do you know it's where we came from? You know, I take pride in myself. You know, and so knowing that I used to have paper in the bottom of my shoes, or I had to tie a jumper around my waist because there's the power hole, as we call it in Jamaica, the power hole rip out. You know, when when I started to work, I buy nice stuff and keep it for a
Mm,
long time, and it made me feel good to know that I had something, you know, more than what I used to have growing up.
mhm,
You know, it wasn't that our mum couldn't get; she'd buy what she could get. You know, and uh, but once it was smashing up, you know, sometimes it's just I wouldn't go and ask, you know, that Debbie. I wouldn't say, "Mom, my shoes has got a hole in it," you know, because growing up with just this mummy, it was like, "What, she's doing everything," you know.
mhm.
So I was glad that at 16, 17, when I started to work and have my own money, you know, and that's where it all comes from, brother Bossy. You know what I mean?
But I think that going back to what we were saying, that it's the way how someone can put themselves forward and act like they're the only one who is achieving, who has excellence in work, who has a nice personality. It's all about them, and that's what I think
Yeah,
is
with the boss.
concerning
Yeah,
and worrying within a relationship. And if you are in a relationship and you're with somebody who is like showing these kind of signs, being envious, because I think that sometimes with the boasting and the envy, they kind of go
yeah.
a little bit,
And I was thinking that too.
you know, because it's like they're having to say, I am this awesome person, whilst probably envying you at the same time. But if somebody is like excessive with that, and you probably got a work colleague or someone like that that's excessive and you probably can't stand them or whatever. But when it's in your personal relationship, it hits you differently. And so we're talking about 8 signs of you not loving your spouse. If you're very bossy in your relationship, if you're envious, these are signs that you're not really loving in the relationship. Do you want to go on
And
to the next one?
and I'll go on and say it again. Please, um, last week's show speaks about 7 ways. It was 7 ways to love your partner, was it?
Hmm.
Yeah. Please, please, please go back and watch that as well, because that will help you a lot to understand what love really um, is and what it takes to love your significant other, um, your girlfriend or boyfriend, husband or wife. That's all I'm saying. Mm. Some people will say to me, what do you mean? Well, that's another show, and we'll talk about that in another show. So, some of you are laughing out there. I hear you. um, envy, boast, and proud. Proud, feeling that you are better and more important than another person. And I think those three have they gel together really. There's, to envy, boast, and to be proud. They're all kind of like in the same category as well, where you do think you're better than your partner. You think that they're less than you because you're earning more money. They're less than you because they don't have a house and you have a house, or you have several houses. Um, but you have. I was saying this today to someone. When you're gone and you die, you don't have nothing. So why be proud and boastful and envious now? Because when you're dead, I mean, all the possessions that you have, people are going to tear at each other's eyes to get it, and then they then carry on the same trait. Some of them, like you did, you know. But to be too proud, you can't be too proud. You know, there's a scripture that says God resists the the proud and give grace to the humble. You know, it's I think there's nothing sweeter. Thank you, Catherine. Catherine reminded me of the word. Um, there's nothing sweeter than to humble yourself. There isn't. I'm serious. To humble yourself when you know you could kick up a rumpus, and you say to yourself, you know what? I'm not gonna bite. I'm not gonna bite that. I'm not gonna allow that to bring me into a place where I shouldn't be. You know, Debbie, over to you. And this is your show, people. This ain't just our show. If you've got any comments, please, please, please. Um, are you
Put them in the
watching?
chat.
Yeah, are you watching Insta as well, Debbie, at the same
Yeah, I'm
time?
watching Instagram.
Okay, so
I just
please
said hi to
put
everyone.
comments in there as well. Put comments on the YouTube, because you'll be in this chat as well. This show is for you guys as much as it is for us, um, and we're looking for that interaction from you guys as well. As
Yeah,
I
tell
say
us your
all the
thoughts.
time, as I say all the time, if you have any subjects that you want us to cover, please put them in the chat. Or if you know um, us personally, then send it to our emails or WhatsApp or whatever um, platform it is, and we'll cover that particular subject. Go on, Debbie. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think that when somebody's proud within a relationship, there's that sense of arrogance and superiority. Someone that might have like an inflated ego, and you know, those kind of things negatively impacts the dynamics of your relationship. It's not going to end well, because it will eventually end if that person doesn't look at how they are being like that within a relationship. um Negative pride in, let me just share this, negative pride in a relationship can manifest as a lack of humility, an unwillingness to admit fault, or tendencies to belittle or undermine the other person. It may lead to toxic power dynamics. So where somebody is really asserting their authority over you, and it's very toxic. So they undermine you, they belittle you, they find faults in you. They really accept or acknowledge faults. They really apologize and say sorry. This can lead to communication breakdown, emotional distance between the partner. Being too proud can hinder effective collaboration. So you think that you're all that and some, so you're not going to want to work with that person. You think that what you are doing is right and correct, and that person has to come on board with what you are doing. And you find that people who are quite proud, who have like lack of humility, that they generally they don't typically have much empathy. And it really, all of these kind of things really impact the health of the relationship. And so I think that when you look at pride, it's not being too proud in a relationship. It has like arms to it. It's not just one thing. If you got pride, you're going to see that there are different elements to that pride and how it's going to manifest in your relationship. And the more you give in to that pride and that arrogance, is the more it's going to grow more arms in the relationship, and it's just going to overshadow the good things that you could be demonstrating in a relationship. So being proud in your relationship isn't going to bear any good fruit within the relationship. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. I think it's really essential and necessary for all of us to check out ourselves. Pride and ego is one of the biggest things within the relationship. So when people's talking about the relationship broke down because of finances, the relationship broke down because of extramarital affair, the relationship, you have to check what is going on underneath there, because you'll probably find that there's pride, there's ego that is giving way to arrogance. And if you're proud within the relationship and you think that you're all that and some, and that person isn't even matching up to you, and then somebody inflates that ego, another man or another woman, you're going to be attracted to that person because you think that the person that you got at home is less than, and that person will feed into that pride and feed into that ego that will be inflated. And this is where infidelity comes in. When it comes to money, because you think that you know it all, you might overspend, you might not know how to save. So when they say that there's these elements within the relationship, I do believe that they're there, but I think that if we look a little bit under the surface, I think that there's elements of pride and ego there. That's just my personal opinion. You guys can say what your thoughts are on it. Those are my thoughts. Is there anything in the chat?
Yep, we got that. Good evening, or evening from Kodrika.
Hi, Kodrika.
Sonia laughed at something that we said. I think it was Brother Borsey.
All right.
So can you see all of that, what that says? Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry. Okay. So Sylvia Plath and Ted Hughes' marriage says it's all about envy. I don't know if, well, that's the name of the book, I guess.
I guess so.
Michael says, I don't get the whole envy of a partner. I've known some that are or have been, and I just wonder why they were or are in a relationship. I agree with you. It doesn't make no sense to be envious or boastful, any of the things that we've said already, and be in a relationship with someone, because it is a recipe for disaster. Also, okay, he said that one already. I read that one. When my wife shines, then so do I. I don't be a cloud. That's right. That's right. If your wife is shining, I said it before. Yeah. Catherine's winning, I'm winning. You know.
Absolutely.
Oh no, they were a married couple of poets. Um,
All right.
there's a film called Sylvia.
All right. Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, it makes sense now. Yeah, it doesn't benefit. I mean, I said something the other day as well, and I say it all the time. When we were teenagers, yeah, some of us still think we're teenagers, but we're not. All right. Um,
Hey.
um, pride. No, not really. um, when we're teenagers, we have these little relationships, and some went on and married their childhood sweetheart and wonderful. But we argued in our teenage years. We argued in our 20s. We argued in our 30s. And some of you are maybe in their 30s and you can relate to this as well, and some are older. And then we argue in our 40s. And what we're going to do the 50s and 60s and 70s doing the
Bye,
same,
Felicia. Ain't got
yeah,
time for that.
yeah,
Nobody got time for that. Nobody got
playing
time
the
for that.
same game for all the years. Come on, man. Or you jump ship. You got a different partner, but you're playing the same
It's gonna be the
game and
same. It's
still
gonna be
doing
the
the
same
same
thing.
because you haven't stopped and checked that. Hang on, I don't need to carry on like that, you know. And if you need to be on your own, so you're checking yourself and growing and understanding about what love is, understanding about what you want for yourself, you as an individual, getting into a relationship, then so be it. You do that, but you can't keep going on with the same thing. You're gonna get the same result, negative. You know, if you find yourself that you flare up all the time, because someone said, or she said, or he said this one little thing, and to you it's not little, it's big.
Mhm.
Resolve it. Resolve it. Resolve it. You need to resolve things and then leave them alone. And we're gonna come to that.
We're gonna come to that. I
Yeah,
was
we're
going
gonna
to say
come
that.
to that. You know.
Yeah.
Um. Okay.
So the next one was dishonor,
Hmm.
and basically to dishonor your person, your significant other within your relationship refers to a lack of respect, regard, or esteem for one's partner. It involves actions, behaviors, or attitude that undermines the dignity and worth of the other person. So no respect, no regard, no esteem. Let me say this, yeah. When the Bible is clearly showing you what it looks like to not love an individual, take heed. The reason why I'm saying that is because the way how we are meant to love is meant to be selfless. We are meant to be giving of ourselves. We're meant to be serving the other person. It's not about a feeling, it's about you choosing. And so when you're in a situation where this person may have done something, not that you mustn't say anything, but to get to the point where you start to not respect them, have no regard for them, like you do not esteem them. So what you do, you chat them to other people, or you disrespect them in front of other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen it, and I've heard about it, and it's not like I've been in a situation where somebody's dishonored their partner, and I've felt very uncomfortable, and after the whole situation happened, I had to go and speak to that husband and say that what he did made me feel very uncomfortable, and it was very dishonoring what he did in front of me to his wife. And he said he didn't view it like that. First of all, he was, pride and ego switched on, and he was just like, nah, that's how we roll, that's how we talk. She didn't take it no way or anything like that. And I said, trust me, as a woman, I know that she did. I know that she did. And then later on, me and her had a conversation about it. And initially she was saying, oh, it wasn't really anything. That's how we kind of flex and everything like that. And I said to her, is it something that you are okay with though? Because if you guys just dishonor each other like that, you know what I mean? I'm not here to tell you how to run your relationship or anything like that. But when she said it to me, that look in her face was more of embarrassment more than agreement. Do you get what I mean? And so I was
Mm,
just like, if this how you sort of roll, then this how you sort of roll. But initially he was trying to act like, yeah, this is what we do. It was just a joke, blah, blah, blah. And that word, oh, or that sentence, it's just a joke. Like, I find that really frustrating. I find it really annoying because people do things and they just want to put it under a bracket. Oh, it's only a joke. No, it's not a joke. Not if it hurts, not if it
mm.
undermines, not if it disrespects, somebody. It's not a joke. It's not a joke, because what you're saying is that that person's a joke and the joke is on them. So you undermining your partner, you not showing them no respect, you having attitudes and so forth, especially in public, it's so horrible. It will most definitely erode the foundation of your relationship. That person is not going to respect you back. It's going to affect the trust in the relationship. I've got here, dishonoring actions may include disrespect, dishonesty, betrayal, neglect, or any behaviors that devalues the feelings and well-being of the partner. So yeah, it's all of those things. And I think
I,
that sometimes.
I agree with you as well. Michael said it's 100%, Debbie, as
Mhm,
well. I've been in the same situation. I'm a very vocal person, but on the best of days, I don't like to be embarrassed. And what
no,
you'll do is you'll bring out a side of me that I don't even like.
mhm,
I remember someone done it in front of their friends, you know,
mm,
and they didn't do it sometimes. They did it a lot of the times.
yeah,
And then I'm having to, out of embarrassment more than anything else, I'm trying to defend myself, or I'm coming back hard, you know,
mhm,
and I shouldn't ever have to defend myself like that,
mhm,
because you should know to keep your it's a time you just keep your mouth shut if you don't know what to talk about.
mm,
you know I'm not anybody's scapegoat. you
yeah,
know and it's like Catherine, she's not my scapegoat for me to go around and ridicule her in front of people, and embarrass her, because whatever comes my way after that, I asked for that, because I've taken it there, and people will come out swinging. I'm not saying that, not literally. Um, I'm not saying that that's the best way, you know, but embarrassment sometimes bring out something in people.
mhm,
I'm now comfortable about myself, so if someone wants to try and embarrass me in front of people, that's for me when I go home. If Catherine was doing that, that's for me when I get home. And I will say, not about not doing that again, but moreover, go back to that person that you done it in front of and apologize to them.
mhm,
If that's what I think is the best thing, because we talk about it, then you go to the person and say, look, what I did the other day was wrong. I should never have said that about my husband. I should never said that about my wife. My one definition says to treat with disrespect, a lack of honor or respect. If you dishonor a promise or an agreement, you do not. Um, if you dishonor a promise or agreement, you do not do what you said you would do.
mhm,
Now, I'm going to put in the context of a marriage. Yeah? You said that you would love me, you'd forsake all others, you'd do this and you'd do that, you'll be with me sickness and health. And you're verbally giving a contract to somebody, you
absolutely.
know?
It's a covenant
Yeah, it's a
agreement.
covenant, you've agreed something. When you break that, according to the word dishonor, yeah, you're breaking that promise. You said you would, you know? These are the things, these are the other side of loving someone. If you say you love, then you're not going to dishonor what you said.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you're always going to go through things, always. I think Catherine put it to someone the other day. We were talking to people. This is how me and Catherine talk to people. We was at dinner with them yesterday. It was dinner tonight as well. So you imagine we're all the way in Egypt and we're still talking about relationships and things resolve, unresolved issues, etc. you know, how you talk to one another, because we are work in progress as well. So we're talking, though we're talking on here, it's what we're putting in action as well.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to put it in action. And like I said, it's not that Catherine and I have never had any problems. Oh, we got a squeaky clean relationship, nothing's gone wrong. Hell no. Boy, listen, yeah. I sound because I'm great. No, not really. You know, it's so
The
much.
hairline's receding.
No, it's always that's the barber. You never. I can't believe that Debbie's took it. That's why she got the band on her head, you know, because she's got one as well. You know what's funny? I was looking the other day, right, and I took a picture. And I will get back to it. I put the pin in it. You know, and I'm taking a picture, and I looked, and I said to myself, "Don't even look like I got locks. If you don't see me
Which,
flipping over,
yeah.
you just look like I got forehead and just a bit of hair, you know." But you know what? It's all brains in there. That's what I'm gonna keep on saying anyway. You know. But the funny thing is, when you go barbers, men will tell you, yeah,
Yeah.
when the barber messes up, instead of him just leave it alone, leave it
Leave
alone, let
it
that hair
alone,
grow
man. You
back.
go
He
back.
goes back. He keeps going back. Yeah. How far are you gonna go back with her hair? And by the time you've gone back there, and it ain't growing back. This is what you get, okay? Men, don't let them zip you back. Yeah, no zip. Yeah. Anyway, you know, I going back to what I'm saying is you work through it all. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just say this,
Oh,
yeah,
go
because I've
ahead.
got this written down. So dishonor can lead to feelings of hurt, resentment, and a breakdown of emotional connection. When somebody's dishonoring you and they're hurting you, so this is like, let's look at it from a biblical perspective. The Bible says, "Husbands, love your wife." Yeah. So I'm gonna take it from a woman's perspective, because there are men out there that says, oh, their wives don't want to be intimate with them. But when you lose that emotional connection because of dishonoring, then the connection, the emotional connection gets messed up. And when the emotional connections for a woman, when it gets messed up, you're not going to want to feel intimate. You're not going to want to be sexual with that person. And I think that sometimes men don't understand, when they dishonor their wives, when they speak to them in a certain way, that causes hurt feelings, and then it causes resentment, and it causes a breakdown of that emotional connection. um, and then that can hinder the sexual connection as well. And I think it works both ways with men and women, but primarily with women, because when their feelings are hurt and they feel like you're not loving me, then there isn't that desire to want to be intimate. And I think it's necessary for me to share it from a woman's perspective, because if a man just thinks, oh, my wife doesn't want to be intimate with me, you have to look at why she doesn't want to be intimate with you. Is there some dishonoring going on? Is there some disrespect? Is there, you not having her in any regard? It's important for you to listen to that. And also it's essential for any healthy relationship to foster an environment of honor, to honor your partner, where both individuals feel valued, appreciated, and respected. This is
Definitely.
this is what it's meant to look like. You're meant to be honoring them at all times, even at times when they get on your last nerve. You are still meant to honor them, because in you dishonoring them, it's going to lead to a world of issues and challenges that it's sometimes it's hard to come back from. If somebody feels dishonored continually, not just once or twice, but continually being dishonored. And this is why we, as well as last week, and I'll reiterate again, we was talking about what love looks like the 7 ways of loving your husband, your wife. There are ways that are principles, biblical principles, ones that, whether you're Christian or non-Christian, if you are building a relationship on that, you will find that your relationship will grow and it will flourish, and you will feel loved and respected and honored, and so will your spouse. So Do you want to go on to the next one, Paul?
Well, I was just going to say this because it was pointed out by my lovely wife
Because we're nearly
that I
finished.
said something and I then used the word about dishonoring. I wasn't talking about Catherine. I need to put it
Hmm.
out there, you know.
Oh.
So yeah, because it was a content of how I said it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't my wife. Okay,
Yeah.
just put that out there. It was a footnote. She picked it up, and it would sound like that. I have to listen back to it myself. But
Is there
yeah,
anything
no.
in the chat at the moment? Those on
Ye-
Instagram, they're really quiet, but I've said hi to everyone on Instagram, and it's the first time that we're actually going live on Instagram. So thank you to all of those that have joined on here. Go ahead and read from the chat.
you read them.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I'll put it up.
So, what about feelings? I pray to God, God's protection in my spirit when I feel upset. Feelings have little bearings on truth.
Mm.
So,
The truth does override feelings. If it's a true statement, you know, what are you defending? If it's the truth,
mhm.
you might feel offended that it's been brought up, but yet it's the truth. So you have to live with the truth. I'd rather someone tell me the truth, and I feel bad about it, than someone lying to me and I feel good.
But you know what, your feelings, yeah, we have to have it in context, because your emotions and your feelings, we know that they're entwined, but you have to realize that you can go with your feelings and it totally take you off course, simply because of our makeup. Our makeup is, we are emotional beings, and so anything that we feel, we're ready to respond to that feeling.
Exactly.
It's like a knee jerk reaction. This
Yeah.
person said that, I'm going to respond like this. But if you pause, if you wait for a moment, like I'll give you an example. The other day, I was out, and I was getting bombarded with these thoughts, and it was quite negative. And because I'm a believer, the Holy Spirit speaks to me, and the Holy Spirit just said to me, reframe that, because the thought was making me feel some kind of way. But the thoughts were just thoughts. There was no truth in those thoughts. It was just what I was thinking. And because of what I was thinking, which was an assumption, no truth in it, it was making me feel some kind of way. So when the Holy Spirit said to me, reframe what you're thinking, and I reframed it, those feelings were lifted. So I say to the women that I work with, that I mentor and counsel and so forth, I say to them, think about what you are thinking about. Because if you think about what you are thinking about, you will be more in tune with your feelings, and you won't allow your feelings to run away with you. You'll be like, do you know what, I'm thinking this, but is this even the truth
Is it
though?
reality?
Is it
Yeah.
even the truth though? And so I think about what I'm thinking about. Sometimes I think things and I'm like, Debbie, why are you even thinking that? That ain't even going to benefit you. But you can feel it in your gut, you can feel it in your chest. Like sometimes you can think things and you can feel that anxiety just hit you, that worry just hit you. But you have to be able to train the way that you're actually thinking. And I can go off on a tangent on that because I love speaking about things like that. So the next one, Paul.
Yeah. I'll just say that Trevor said it's exactly what you said. He said all emotions in a relationship are interlinked as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Very true, Trevor. Um, so self-seeking,
Mm-hmm.
interested in your own advantage in everything that you do, the act or practice of selfishly advancing one's own ends. So it's all about you.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is about you. Yeah. Uh, as it says, interested in your own advantage, your own gain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not even in a relationship because you're for them. Maybe this man is a really good looking man, or
Books
she's a
in
good looking
you. No,
woman.
no,
Yeah,
remember that,
yeah.
books.
Whoops. And because it's status, isn't it? Look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you selfishly are with this person. Yeah, it, and some people are like that. They're only with them because of what they look like, what they have, what you can gain. Self motive, selfishness. You know. Do you wanna go on?
Yeah. So, um, self-seeking refers to behavior or attitudes of pursuing one's own interests, desires, or goals without regards for others or without considering the impact on others. So it's all like you said, it's self-seeking, it's the primary goal and focus is on themselves, it's at the expense of others. It's literally you being selfish. You're not even really concerned about the impact that it's going to have on
Have
others,
a
the lack of concern
carelessness. Mm,
for what other people think, and so forth. Now think about that within a relationship, within a marriage, where you are with somebody and all they are doing is seeking for themselves. It's not about us.
mm,
The Bible says the two become one.
one.
But when you're with somebody and it's all about them, what they want to do, how they feel, how this is impacting upon them, you're dealing with someone who hasn't become one, who doesn't intend to be one. They're
Mm,
very much have a single mindset, single person's mindset, where it's still about them. If that was the
mm,
case, be by yourself and love on yourself. Do whatever you're doing by yourself. Don't bring somebody along on that journey with you when you're not ready to commit, when you're not ready to be sacrificial, when you're not ready to lay down things for that individual. Because the reality is, when you all right, boyfriend and girlfriend, I hope that your intentions is to marry, but
mm,
you would have to start working that into you from then, like as a couple, as people that are dating, you will have to start believing and thinking differently, like if you are married, because you're aspiring to be married, you're aspiring for the two to become one. And so when you're becoming one, it doesn't mean that you don't have your own mindset. What it is that you are both going in the same direction. So I will come in with my beliefs and um, my cultural environments, the things that I was brought up with, all of those stuff, and then you will come with yours, and what we will do is forge together our stuff that works for us. So I would take a bit of this spice, you would take a bit of that
balance.
spice,
Having
and
a
we bring it
balance.
together, and then we create something new for
Mm,
the both of us. I
mm,
can't be just self-seeking. I can't be just thinking about myself. There's been times when I have done that because I've been thinking, well, this is something that I was doing before. This is something that I want to continue with. But when you get married, you have to now put everything together and look at the direction that you're both
mm,
going in, rather than me as an individual and you as an individual. So being self-seeking is really about you just doing you, and it's all about
mm.
you, and you're not really concerned about the other person, what the
See,
other
that goes back to and 2 points that I'm going to make here.
person.
It goes back to what I said when we started this show today. I said I asked my wife, yeah,
Hmm.
I can't just jump up and well, I'm going to do my show, right?
Hmm.
And nothing else. I'm just going to do it, you know. Um, but the support that Catherine's given me
Hmm.
and acknowledging that I'd like to do it. But if Catherine had said, to be honest, I don't think you should do all of this when we're away. I mean, we discussed it. It weren't just like um, I asked and this was it. We had a discussion, you know. I knew how she felt. She knew how I felt. And this is the result. I'm online,
Yeah.
you know. It's late at night here, you
Hmm.
know. I had to take all of that into consideration as well, you know.
Mm.
And the other point that I was going to make is, do you think it, like what we're talking about now and talking about love, don't you think it's about maturity and understanding to not do these things and apply the positives of love. It's maturity. This is my feeling anyway, that it's
Mhm,
maturity. You know, you should know not to disrespect your wife or your
mhm.
husband, yeah, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. You should know that already.
But remember, it goes back to what I was saying. If you're in a relationship with someone, and I'll bring up that couple again,
Mm,
he was disrespecting her in front of me. This wasn't something that has happened once, because when I spoke to
mm,
him and I spoke to her, they said, "Oh, this is what we do. It's just banter. It's this." But then when I took the layers off, he realized that this is this is me disrespecting and dishonoring my wife, and she realized that she felt dishonored, she felt disrespected, but she wasn't saying anything because it was covered with ha 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 ha, ha kiki, you know.
hmm.
And so you would expect that two people who are mature, that they would conduct themselves differently. However, that doesn't always happen,
Mm,
especially if you're accepting of certain behaviors and that person isn't checked, then it goes unchecked. That person will continue doing that thing until that woman will like probably shut down with the communication, like I was saying earlier on.
mm,
Emotional communication is lost, and then she basically don't really want to be intimate with him anymore, and then it's a whole conversation about there is no intimacy, when that wasn't where it started from. It
mm,
started
mm,
from
mm.
you dishonoring her in front of somebody else, but she was silent on that. And that's another thing in relationships, where you expect that person to know because they're grown. You expect
Yeah,
that person to respond in a certain way because they're grown, and that's not the case. You always have to have that conversation with someone and say, you know, when we was out the other day, this is how that made me feel.
yeah,
Try
yeah,
not to
yeah,
point the
yeah.
finger at them and say, you always make me feel like that.
Mm.
Try to home it in on your feelings and talk about how that
That's right. How that
situation made you
situation made you
feel,
feel. Yeah,
rather than, because if you come at them, what you're going to get is somebody that's going to come back at you with defense.
exactly that.
So
That I had to learn that myself, you
absolutely,
know,
we all
with
we
Catherine.
all
But
we all
but
have
it
to
does
do that.
it does come to
We have to
that place of
learn.
maturity. From my perspective, it's coming to that place of maturity by looking at past relationships, the dynamics of those relationships, why they didn't work, what was good about it, what wasn't good about it, what did I do, what did they do, and be able to really look at the fundamental things that worked and the things that didn't work in order that
I'm gonna I'm gonna throw a bit of a spanners in the works.
go
And the
ahead. This is
reason,
what this is all about.
yeah, the reason why I'm going to say that, and we've gone over the hour, but
The
I
hour.
think that we did last week as well. I think the reason why I say that, when you said about what worked in that relationship and then bringing it into like this relationship, because it worked. Remember, you're dealing with two different individuals,
But
so
there are similarities that there's certain
so
things that you
let's
still
let's
can
look at
go through.
principles then. So
Okay.
so there's a difference between things actually working in a relationship that worked with that person. And I remember
Hmm.
teaching a session years ago when I was saying that if you was in a relationship with someone and that person liked you kissing their ear, kissing their ear, licking their ear. If you was in a relationship with somebody and they like that, and then you bring this into this other relationship, what you might find is somebody like not liking that at all. Do you get what I'm saying? But principles, and this is what we're teaching today, is principles. Those are the things that you can take into any
Hmm.
relationship, any
I'm in
relationship,
agreement with that. I'm in
and it
agreement
and it
with
and it will work. Not just, this person likes going shopping,
that. Yeah.
this
And
person like
and
me
I should have
touching them
used the word
hair.
principles. I should have used the word principles because
Absolutely.
those are the elements that I'm
Principles.
talking about.
Yeah,
You
if
know.
you apply principles, you will win every time, because it's just like gravity, isn't it? It doesn't matter whether you are black, white, big, small. If you decide, I'm not going to follow, you know, the laws of gravity and you decide to jump off a building, there you go, splat. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it works the same for every person. And this is what we're talking about when we're talking about love, what it looks like and what you should be applying and what you should not be applying to your relationship. You will see that by applying this, it's going to work. By applying that, it's not going to work, period. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you can't have a creator that has created something to work in a particular way and then you decide to work it in a different way and don't expect for there to be dysfunction. There will be dysfunction because you're not applying the principles in which the creator has created to apply. Do you get what I mean? And that's where we have to come back down to grassroots. If we are created, what does the creator say that we should apply so that we can have a fruitful relationship?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Trevor says that the honor and respect given to each other adds tremendous value to each other. Very true.
Absolutely.
Ronki, hi Ronki.
Hey, Ronki.
Glad you're here. She said, "Hi guys." I'm gonna emulate you. Eh? Hi guys. No, not really. I'm just simplifying things by stating our behavior towards our spouse should be a reflection of how we'd want to be treated.
Absolutely.
100%. 100%.
Absolutely. But you know what, Ronki? Uh, some of the challenges that people experience in relationships, why they don't also treat the person as themselves, is because they don't love themselves.
Love themselves, a little value.
And so if that person doesn't love themselves, they are not going to demonstrate love towards you. So you should treat that person as yourself, but you should first and foremost be loving yourself. If you don't love yourself, if you don't respect yourself, if you have that self-loathing, then this is how you are going to demonstrate it towards somebody else. That's because there are people where you think, why are you treating me like this? Why you wouldn't want me to treat you like that? But if you was to listen to how they speak to themselves in their head and how they disrespect themselves, how they lie to themselves, how they look at themselves as nothing, then you will realize this person is absolutely treating me how they treat
How they
themselves.
treat themselves. But
Because I think
ideally, they should be treating you in all the kind and loving ways.
how is somebody going to treat you better than how they treat themselves if they don't treat themselves kind? How?
Absolutely.
And in your mind, you would definitely think, why is this person treating me like this? And you will say to them, you wouldn't treat yourself like that. But internally, yeah, they do. They do treat themselves like that. And I was having a conversation with someone about last week about, you know, when somebody goes out to buy themselves something, and this happened to me, is experience that something that I experienced, that I would buy everything for everyone else, but I wouldn't buy myself something really nice and expensive. Like not that it wasn't nice, but it just wasn't expensive. I struggled with buying myself something really expensive, even when I had the money to buy it, but I would buy it for someone else. And that wasn't me loving on myself. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'll leave that there. What did you just put up?
Ronki's comment to what you just said.
Right, okay.
I agree. I think it's imperative you work on yourself before you decide to embark on a loving relationship.
But you know what as well? Sorry. sometimes you can think that you've done the work until you're with somebody, and then you realize that I haven't done that deep work. I've done work, but I need to go deeper. I need to dig deeper, and I need to be better, and I need to grow. I think that we're always evolving. I think that even when we get to a certain point, we know that we can go past that as well. You tired, Paul? You yawning? I know it's late there, isn't
12,
it?
yeah. So we got angered. Yeah, love doesn't. It's not anger. Do you want to go
What
with
do
that
you
one?
guys think on Instagram? You guys are silent over there. It's only the people on YouTube. And I know that it's new to you guys over there on Instagram, but it'll be good to hear your thoughts. What are you thinking? Go ahead.
A, a strong feeling of um, displeasure, infuriated, make someone extremely angry.
What are you just
So
saying? What are you reading?
anger. Did
Oh
you not
wow,
have anger?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the way that you it was the way you saying it. Say it again for me, please.
A strong feeling of displeasure, infuriated, make someone extremely angry.
Right.
So can you read it from the scripture what it says about that, just that bit about anger?
Okay. So it says, so let me read it from 5. It
Yeah.
says it does not dishonor others. So this is love. Love does not dishonor others. It's not self-seeking. It is not easily angered.
Okay. So love isn't easily angered. A feeling of displeasure, infuriated, and extremely angry. So
Hmm.
love doesn't make you go to that place. Really, that's what you're saying. But how many of us have? And I go back to a scripture. It says, "A soft answer turneth away wrath." Yeah. Sometimes you, I mean, and there's another scripture that says, "Be angry, but sin not."
Hmm.
You know, we do get angry. You know, um, but love doesn't push you over the edge to where you're extremely angry and you're acting out. Because when you're angry, you start acting out these things.
Hmm.
Words start coming out of you, the
Hmm.
wrong words. Yeah,
Hmm.
you might not hit the person, but you start smashing up things around you.
Hmm.
That's not displaying love. You know, it isn't easily angered. Some people are offended, as we said earlier on, by things that people say to you,
Hmm.
and then you act out in anger,
Yeah.
as opposed to the um, uh, taking the approach of the calm demeanor. I used to be a very angry person.
No way. You
Ask Debbie what I used to do to the doors.
smash up the doors, them, thump up the
Yeah.
doors,
Mad
tear
as
up the clothes, them.
mad,
The Hulk.
mad, Incredible Hulk. I was,
He
I
was the
was,
Incredible Hulk.
listen,
He used to put on
m-
his old shirts, and he used to go, "Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry." And you go,
now why are you telling people stories like this now? I don't remember. See, this is now after the stroke, so I don't remember any of that. I think you're making it up.
that used to be hilarious. That used to be
Please
hilarious.
say my age when I wasn't like a big man when I was doing
It was
this,
like,
but like 30, 40, and I'm putting on these old shirts. You won't let me get angry.
it was so hilarious. You was the
It
Hulk.
was the teenage years.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that I went through from a teenager into my adulthood
Hmm.
very angry, you know, offended at everything, and you couldn't say anything to me. If
Hmm.
if it moved, I was angry, you
Yeah.
know. If you looked at another man, I'm ready to cuss you out.
Yeah.
We got eyes to see. We people passing. You just so happen to turn your head at the same time, and I'm
Hmm.
getting mad. I was angry about everything. Oh,
Whoops.
I thought I
What
saw a mouse. It's the wire. Did you see my face? Like, what?
You look so panicked. I was like, what happened?
Listen. That's the one thing that
That
I
is
don't like.
hilarious. Oh my
Rodents.
God.
Rodents. That
You're
was
making
funny.
Sonia laugh.
It even made me laugh. But
You are so crazy.
it was this thing about being angry at everything,
Mm.
you know. And I do I get angry in a different way. I said something to Catherine the other day, but I'm gonna say it online. I'll tell you about it later on, you know. Um, but it's different now,
Hmm.
you know. I think because there's self-worth and understanding um of loving, you
Hmm.
know. Um, and I understand that words hurt. I understand that I've done that to Catherine in the past, where I said something and it left its
Mhm.
residues. So
Mhm.
now I stop.
Mhm.
If I feel upset
Welled up.
or
Yeah.
angered about something, I stop
Mhm.
and I become more calmer in myself before I even have a conversation. She could be talking, and I will listen,
Mhm.
and I'll understand what she's saying and think about what she's saying, and that sometimes calms me by understanding where this person's coming from, you know, and not. And in other previous shows, I've said that you have to get out of your feelings. Your
Mm.
feelings in at times can make you act in the wrong manner. And
Absolutely.
being angry with your wife or your husband in a negative way,
Mm.
be careful what you say when you feel. You said it earlier on, when you feel, because not
Mm.
everything you feel you have to react to. It's
Absolutely.
sunny outside. I don't need to put on shorts if I know I'm in the winter. It's just
Mhm.
sunny outside. It's
Mhm.
still cold.
Mhm.
Not here in Egypt though.
And only in the UK. Only in the
Yeah.
UK. Try and rub it in. So I wanted to say
That's
that so anger is the emotion. So
give me a moment.
there is a thought, there is a feeling, yeah, and you're manifesting the anger. So the reality is that it often arises from a response to it could be a perceived threat, it could be an injustice, it could be a frustration, it could be a multiple amount of things that is causing you to express this emotion, anger. So you have to identify what are the triggers, what are the things that is causing you to be angry, because the reality is that we are going to be angry in situations like my car's they sold me like a car that had issues with it, and their nonsense has caused me to be angry several times, because of their foolishness. The reality is that I choose not to cuss up bad word. I choose not to go down the place and smash up the place. I choose not to, manifest that anger. But what I do, I send letters. I send emails, rather, not letters. I send emails. I get on the phone. I express my frustration about what they've done, what they've said, and all the rest of it. It's a choice of how you respond, how you manifest that anger. And you highlighted earlier on, the Bible says, be angry but sin not. So God identifies that anger is an emotion that we are gonna feel angry. However, what we have to be responsible for is the way how we choose to manifest that anger. And so oftentimes people don't have self-control. When you don't have self-control, that anger will cause you to do absolutely anything that you feel comes to mind. And this is
Mm.
why it's important, because before you get to the place, before you smash up, somewhere, before you cuss off someone, you're already processing that in your head. You're already saying, I'm going to cuss this person. I'm going to cuss them when I see them, or I'm going to smash up this thing. Your mind is already going there. It's whether you want to go on that journey and
Yeah.
actually manifest that behavior. No one isn't saying that you cannot be angry, but it's how you are going to respond to your spouse. Remember, your words are powerful. What you say, you're not going to be able to take them back. So you have to be mindful what you are saying and what you are doing, because that is going to have possibly a lasting impact. And so it's identifying what are the triggers. I was speaking to someone the other day and I was saying to them that what they're upset about is something that has happened in their past. And this person is not responsible for what happened in their past. However, this person is triggering them, and they are so angry that they're manifesting and cussing. And I'm saying to them, this is not rooted in this situation. This is rooted in the past. So you cannot make this person be responsible for something that has happened in the past. And the way how you are manifesting on this person is not right. So after having that conversation with them, they absolutely knew it was, they absolutely acknowledged that that was actually true. And what it is that they haven't done no healing, they haven't done no self-healing. So this person is now pressing that button or trigger or whatever you want to call it, and causing them to react, which I said to them is a good thing, because ultimately you know that there is something that needs to heal. Yeah. So there is going to be anger there, but know where it's rooted, know what is actually causing you to be angry, and also learn self-control. That's what I would say. So we're going to have to wrap up, because
I
it's
know we got records of wrong, and I'll just put down self-explanatory. Yeah, you
what
self-explanatory. Yeah,
what
records.
records of wrongs.
Yeah, records of wrong. And why I say self-explanatory. Love don't keep no records of wrong. So all the wrongs that someone has done to you, you should already know. Yeah. You don't keep a record. Listen, you're not you haven't got a ledger.
Listen,
You're not
most
an
people's got a
accountant.
tally. They got a
Yeah.
they got a
You,
tally.
you're not an accountant. You're not an
Listen, they're
accountant.
tallying that
Yeah.
up.
And then putting all the books, and you start drawing out all the books from way back when and when and when. Well, hold on a second. On page 58, section 8 and 4a, you did this. Listen, we all do wrong. Yeah, there's none that is perfect. Not one. Yeah, we all do things wrong. We say things wrong. We've done things wrong. We're probably going to do more wrongs moving forward as well. You don't. That's why I said earlier on, and I say all the time, you need to resolve the issues when they're there. You can't 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, you're going back and saying, well, I want to resolve this issue from back 10 years ago that I thought was resolved, because we've gone on 5 years, we've gone on 10 years, and now we've got to go back to go forward, because you're still holding feelings from way back there. And then you're listing all the things that I done wrong, because this thing looks like or is what I done in 1978. Well, I done it in 1978, and now I'm in 2024, and I may have done the same thing again, but it's not you. It's you can't keep a record of wrong. Love doesn't. Yeah, rolling it off and lashing the person with what they did. Yeah, you did this, because how can they resolve it there? All these things, and if someone really, from my perspective, started to bring out all the things out of your cupboard every single day, you wouldn't like it either.
Mm.
Yeah, but yet you do it to other people, or you do it to your partner. You know, we will fail. Two people coming together from different, you said it earlier on, different walks of life. Even if we had the same life, it would still bring about something that will clash, because it's not the same. You cannot keep rolling off what someone's done to you, and I don't want that. Yeah, I'd rather resolve. I mean, I don't know how you feel about what I've said, Debbie.
Yeah. I think that I think that both men and women do this, but I think it's more of a woman thing. Women tend to remember a lot of things, times, dates, what they was wearing, when they said it, location, all of that. And normally this is because there is unforgiveness there, because there might be a grievance or something that was offensive to the individual and it was unresolved.
Unresolved.
It's normally something that was unresolved, something that was quite painful, that could have been traumatic for that individual. And sometimes people scoot over the fact that this person was wounded by you. And so sometimes there are things, sometimes people bring up stuff from the past because they don't really have any depth in what they're saying. So what they're trying to do is deflect. So they say, oh, what about when you did X, Y, and Z? No, no, no.
Use leverage from the
We're
past.
actually here. We're actually present right here, and this is the situation. Let's deal with this situation right here and now. But sometimes, because there's not much weight in what they're saying, they will
I have
bring
to
up something that
deflect.
was quite more heavier in the past to
Mm.
bring that into the current, to make that person feel undermined or make that person feel a bit
Guilty.
secure,
Mm.
But it's
Mm.
normally a past mistake, something that somebody's done in the past that normally is something that has been traumatic, something that was not dealt with. And it could not, it can be twofold. It might not have been dealt with the person that caused the offense, where they've basically scooted over it and act like if it was nothing, or the person who has been offended didn't really express how much that thing upset or offended them. It could be a combination of the two. Now, this has happened to me. This has happened to me where I've been extremely wounded, and I had to go to God with this because I couldn't reconcile why I kept on bringing up certain things. I couldn't reconcile why was this something that I kept on bringing up, and God was kind enough to say to me, because you was wounded. And not only was I wounded, every time I was bringing it up, I wanted that person that wounded me to heal me. I wanted them to say and do something different that was going to cause that wound that they caused to heal me, and they wasn't. So every time I brought it up, it was because it was an offense. It was something that was deep rooted. It was a wound that wasn't healed. And so eventually I had to not bring this up, and I had to bring it to God. And I know that some of you who are listening might not be Christians, but that was my methodology of dealing with it. Now, if it's not God, maybe it's yourself, maybe you need to go to therapy, maybe you can speak through it with a friend, a family member, or whatever method you choose, but deal with that wound or wounds, because that's something that is repetitive. It's something that's coming up, but the only reason why it's coming up is because it's wounded you. and
Mm.
and oftentimes when we are wounded, sometimes we want to pretend that we're not, that we're not wounded. And that's the understanding of why people keep records of wrong they haven't forgiven.
See,
Oftentimes,
I was gonna just say that.
yeah,
You,
there's
you know, with
unforgiveness
with
there.
with me, I had to forgive. That
Yeah.
was the biggest. That was my release. I wanted to have conversations with these people. I even had conversations with these people, but
Hmm.
it wouldn't resolve because
Yeah.
they kept on putting their part, And I said, no, but you're wrong with that. That
Hmm.
part didn't happen like that at all. You
Hmm.
think it did, but it didn't. And then I realized that I'm not going to get anywhere.
You're not going to get it.
Yeah,
Sometimes you're not going to get
because
it.
what they did, it hurt, you know. And the only way that I was able to, um, um, there is something in the room, there is something in the room. I can hear it buzzing. I think it might be a beetle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not a mice though.
No, but the beetle moved fast. When I looked down and I thought I said it was a white, it wasn't a white. I just heard something
Oh,
ziggity.
okay.
Anyway,
You're in
so
Egypt.
if you see me start kind and knock over with this and it goes off flying, because I'm gonna get it. I'm telling
It
you.
might be one of those stag beetles, isn't it? You're in Egypt, fool.
Yeah. No, but um, I learned to forgive,
Hmm.
and as soon as I let that forgiveness wash over me, um, it released me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to talk about it anymore. When I see the person, it's not a thought in my mind. When there was a person I said earlier in another show last season, I couldn't even listen to their voice. If their voice, even if they say hello, hello, it,
Mm-hmm.
just the voice alone, I was, because of all the negative and nasty things that happen in a relationship. But the moment I asked them to forgive me, not the other way around. I didn't say you need to you need to say sorry to me. I
Mm-hmm.
went and apologize
Right.
for anything that I've done and everything that I've done that hurt you, upset you, and it released me. You know,
Absolutely.
that they can say hello to me now, and I'm not cringing at the voice and
Mm-hmm.
feeling angry and everything else, every other emotion that was with that as well. So, you know, I like what you said. You know, that if it isn't God in itself, you do need someone to, a counselor or friend or
You
someone
need
to
to
talk
work
to as
through that.
well. Right. Let's wrap this
Look
up.
in the chat.
Hold on a second. Let's go to this chat. What's this on? The record of keeping no wrongs is God's love to mankind.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Yeah.
Um, Trevor also says one of my ex's memory when I was younger was like a long clipboard of facts that I didn't even
If
remember.
you remember,
Yeah,
exactly.
and then he went on to say I was in my early 20s and she remembered everything. My goodness. He also said, how can they heal? How can they heal you if you don't know what to tell them, what to do
To heal you.
to heal you? And I understand about even hearing their voice. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Trevor. Yeah, because I know there's just a voice, you know. But yeah, forgiveness comes into play and it works as well.
And I want to just say this because I've got it written down. Keeping records of wrong can be detrimental to your relationship, as we all know, and as it prevents genuine emotional healing and growth. Like, I know that I've healed from it and I've grown from it, and it perpetuates a cycle of resentment and can lead to a lack of trust. A lack of trust and intimacy between the individual. Successful relationships often involve the ability to forgive, move forward, and focus on building a positive, constructive future together.
Absolutely.
And the reason why I've got this, some of this down, is because I'm doing a whole thing on resilience and working through the challenges and how you reframe things and how you overcome situations that would keep you stuck, and keeping records of wrongs. You can make a decision though, like, from this day, I'm not going to do this anymore. And you can go to your partner and say, do you know what? This is what I've done up to this point, and I really want to heal, and I no longer want this to be an issue in our relationship. So from this day, I'm no longer going to bring up stuff from the past. I just want us to have a clean slate and just move forward and just be honest and genuine, you know.
Do,
And
do you do
yeah,
you find that it's more women that are like that than men?
that's what I
Because I
said.
think
Yeah, I think
I
that,
think
I think that women
I,
tend to keep a lot of records of wrongs, but
uh,
I think that what shouldn't be missed is why they do that. Do you get what I mean?
okay.
Why?
Because I was going to say with us as men, and I think I've only got the one talking right now is Trevor. Um, is that it's not that we don't remember.
Mhm,
We actually choose not to bring it up. We let it go right then.
mhm,
And the only way that we start bringing it back up is if you keep on listening and you
mhm,
listen to us and listen until you think to yourself, hang on a minute, you're telling me this, but yet when you was doing this and this and this and this, yeah, it was right then. And
mhm,
so, you know, you start playing the bat and ball. But
mhm,
I think men generally let things go because it's innate in us rather um, build, um, not all of us, because some are immature still, um, resolve, because we want to fix things. Men want to fix, you know,
Mm-hmm.
not discrediting women in that sort of regards, because they do, but we're more straight and say, right, okay, that happened, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, it's not just as simple as that. I understand that now, that though I want that, I may have to detour and go. I'll use Catherine as an example, and go with her on an emotional journey, to resolve the issue,
For
to get
sure.
back onto the line, to be straight again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't need to list anything. I need to
Mm-hmm.
listen,
Yeah.
listen. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I think if a woman, this is again my perspective. I think if a woman's listing these things, I agree that it's unresolved issues, but I need to listen to the
Mm-hmm.
sound of what she's saying
Yeah.
about this and this and this, and and know that it's not that. There's more,
Yeah.
and
Sometimes the challenge is how it's brought up, especially if it's brought up in the middle of an argument.
mhm,
That person, whether it's a man or woman's not really going to be listening intently. But if that person was to say, do you know what, when you did this like 5 years ago or whenever period of time, this is how much it impacted on me. And I didn't realize that it impacted on me in such a way. And this is
see
why
that?
I've
That's
brought it up.
beautiful.
And this is why I've
Yeah,
brought it up several times because I haven't
that's
healed
beautiful.
from it.
Yeah,
Then that person can can understand why that person is been
absolutely. Because I think
bringing it
if
up.
you're bringing it up with reason, with
Yeah,
good
you're bringing
reason,
it up and highlighting it so that that person can be conscious
clarity.
of the fact that
Yeah.
they actually brought about that trauma or that pain in the first place, and this is what they haven't been able to reconcile with.
Hmm.
However, I think when you have those kind of conversation, it fosters the ability to heal from that, especially if that
Absolutely.
person says, do you know what, that was not my intention, I'm sorry that I
Yeah.
hurt you, I'm
See,
sorry that,
right
you know,
there.
you're able to heal from that. But in an argument, if you just bring it up when there's argument, yeah, but you did X, Y, and Z, like, you cheated though, do you know what I mean, you did this,
Mm.
did then that person's just feels like it's a slap in the face. They're not even going to respond to what it is that you're actually saying.
See,
If you and I mentioned this to someone because they said that their relationship, there was infidelity, and they kept on bringing it up, bringing it up, bringing it up, bringing it up. And I said to them, why are you with the person then? Did you are you with them because you forgave them and you wanted to move on, or is it because you just want to use it as a weapon every so often, to shoot them down with? And
hmm,
after having that conversation, she said, you know what, I didn't let go. I didn't actually forgive. I
hmm,
actually wanted to continue with the relationship, but found it really difficult to forgive them. And this is why they was just bringing it up as a slap in the face every so often to remind them.
mm,
I said that don't be with somebody if you're going to do that, then don't do it,
mm.
because ultimately it is a slap in the face. And if you've chose to move on, then move on. Not that there isn't going to need to be some healing and rebuilding of trust, but and that man needed to know that he's going to need to really kind of humble himself. And I think that that was part of the challenge, that he wasn't really humbling himself
Mm.
and realizing that they needed to build trust. It was like this cocky kind of attitude, like
See,
almost like I got away with it, so
yeah.
just suck it up. If you
See,
want to
I,
be,
I, I
then
I
you
agree.
me.
I think
So
that
it was funny.
transparency, the transparency for a man. Sorry to cut you, Deb. I think if there's infidelity, there needs to be transparency from that point on, from
Mm,
his side or hers. That will help to heal that distrust, that broken trust.
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
in every way.
Hmm.
If she said, "I know that it's not right for me to ask you this," or vice versa, you know, but I feel a bit uncomfortable because you seem a bit distant or on your phone a lot. Can you show me your phone? Because or can I look in your phone? Or she has access. I think Ronki said last week
Yeah.
that they have the same numbers or a
Hmm.
pin, not that they have to go and look, But
Yeah, but I think
if
it's necessary if
you,
if
yeah,
there's been
it is,
infidelity.
because even if it's the case, then that, because having um passwords, you can get into laptops and everything. None of that. When someone wants to be unfaithful, they'll be unfaithful. And there's nothing that you don't have to find anything. There's no signs, there's nothing
Yep.
like that. I've lived that. Yeah, unfortunately, I've lived that life right in front of you. You can go in my phones, you can look in everything, but yet I was still unfaithful and you wouldn't have
Hmm.
known,
Yeah.
because I just carry on normal,
Hmm.
whatever normal that we had. But whatever dysfunctional thing what was happening inside of me, yeah, the manifestation was over there, you know.
Mm.
But I just think that uh and I've lost my train of thought, but I think that you definitely have to be transparent,
Hmm.
honest, from that point on, as to as well why you did, But that's just a side note with what you was just talking about right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to finish the next one? And I broke it into two. It's
Yeah,
one.
so I read it and then you can just break it down
Yeah.
into two and then we'll
Okay.
close. So love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in truth. So it does not delight in evil.
Yeah. So I actually looked at the word delight as well, a feeling of great pleasure, satisfaction, or happiness. And then I broke down evil, the fact of suffering, misfortune, and wrongdoing, sometimes that brings sorrow, distress, and calamity. So delight in evil. I'm delighting in getting great pleasure and satisfaction of someone's suffering, and their misfortune and wrongdoing, or if they're sorrowful or distressed or in calamity, that you don't rejoice in that
Hmm.
someone's um demise, someone's pitfall, someone, you know uh um and this is what happens as well with the stroke. This is the thing that
I know.
my head is going, my mouth won't say it, you know um but delighting in the
I
fact
understand.
nothing's good's happening for you. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it happening for you. Look. Yeah, you thought that you was all up there, innit? Yeah.
Hmm.
Why would you think like that with, oh, you got the sack. Oh. And in the back of your mind, you're saying, well, good, serve you right, because you thought that because you was earning all that money that you was something in it. Look at you.
Hmm.
Why would you find pleasure in your partner's
Hmm.
pitfalls? There's nothing, and we said it earlier on. If I'm up, you're up. If
Hmm.
I'm down,
Absolutely.
I'm down. You know, I been a divorcee, and we will cover divorce as well at some point. There's nothing good in being divorced.
Hmm.
I don't think, yeah, good. I got away from her. I don't think like that. You
Hmm.
know, it's a sad case that it got
Yeah.
to that. You know, and um, you look at that and think, wow. Well, I wish them well, and
Hmm.
that's it. I
Yeah.
wish them well. I don't, or whatever happened in it, it's gone. You
Yeah.
know, so I don't look at someone's um because in my life, I'm around my exes, so I know their lives and things that's happened in their lives, good, bad,
Hmm.
and indifferent. And if the bad thing happened, I don't think good. You see, because you treated me wrong. Look at that.
Yeah.
Love don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why, if I don't do that with anybody outside,
Well, you do that, yeah,
why
with your
would I do that with the person, the person I said I love?
yeah.
Then it means I don't really
We
understand
love
what
them.
love is.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I absolutely agree. I think that, you know, to be evil is to be wicked, it's immoral, it's it's just the way how people want others to suffer or come to some kind of harm or destruction. And I just think that it's just rooted in, I was going to say rooted in evil. It's it's people's morals and their ethics. If it's, I think that there are people who don't think that certain things are evil. Do you know what I mean? But that's because of their moral compass. That's because ethically they just like they don't have that. And that's, I think that's worrying and disturbing when you're with someone and they look at your demise. You know, they don't think of
Positive things.
being anything, doing anything, or thinking kind thoughts towards you. I would say run to the hills. That's what I would say. Do you know what I mean? Because if somebody's got evil thoughts towards you, like, you will know. You will know based upon what they say or what they don't say, what they do, what they don't do. But yeah, it goes without saying is that every single thing that we shared today, you know, about last week, about love and how you can love your spouse, it's undeniable that if you was to apply those principles, you will get the fruit, you will get the reward, you will get something great within your marriage. And the thing is as well, don't wait for somebody to do that for you.
Thank you.
You do it. You
Thank
love them, you know, you be kind, you be patient, you be all of those things that we were sharing last week. But what you must make sure that you're not doing or allowing someone to do with you are the things that we mentioned today, because that's not showing love, like
you.
in any capacity. And it could be you doing it to someone or someone doing it to you. But if they're doing it to you, run to the hills. If you're finding that you're doing that to somebody, like, change, you know,
Work on you.
allow your thoughts to be different, allow your actions to be different, allow you know, just the way that you think, the way you do things to be different, because anybody can change if they want to. You have to choose to love
Choose.
someone. You
Yeah.
have to choose to do that, you know. Making a decision, it's neither here nor there, but when you choose to love someone, it's because you've made a conscious decision to say, right, this is what I choose, this is the person that I'm going to love, and this is how I'm going to love them, you know. So yeah, I think that we're done now, Paul.
Yeah, I think so as well.
You can
Uh,
get some sleep. I really appreciate you guys for being on,
absolutely.
and for going through this as well, Paul. I think that the points that you've made has just been awesome, and I think that, you know, even like for myself, I'm always learning, I'm always growing, and you know, us sharing this, it shines a spotlight on love and how we're meant to be loving and how we're not meant to be treating the people that we say that we love in the way that we possibly do, you know. And if you find any area of what we share today is challenging for you, challenge yourself to change. Challenge yourself to change.
I'm
So,
gonna I'm gonna end it with what we've the scripture that we wrote that we've taken this from is First Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 4 to 7, I believe.
mhm,
Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects. I want to say that again because I think that's deep when you really think about it. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. That went on to 8. I just want
mhm.
to
That
say
last
that.
little bit, yeah.
Love never fails.
True love, love,
Definitely.
the love in that concept
In this.
spells. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much for
Thank you
joining us.
guys. It
We'll
went
be back
way over
next week
time
with
today,
gym
but
time
it was awesome. Hopefully we'll be at the hour
next week.
next week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
And
I think otherwise this would have been like 4 segments, and it can just drag on. So yeah,
all
thank
right.
you, all of those that have joined us on
And
Instagram, on YouTube, and
YouTube.
we will catch you guys.
And everyone in the chat, thank you for who commented and interacted
Absolutely.
with us. And again, please, if there's any subjects that you want us to cover, please just drop us a line, leave a message with the video. If you know us personally, then send us a message direct as well, and we'll cover that as well. So thank you for joining us on Gym Time. Get your motivation. Yeah.
And I want to say, no, Michael, you wasn't texting so much. We really appreciate the interaction in the chat box. And so, yeah, the more interaction, the merrier. That's what we love. So great topic. Sonia says a great topic, guys. Well done. See you all next week. Both keep up the amazing job you're doing with God's blessings. Thank you.
Next week. I will be in cloudy England, and I'll see you all there.
Thanks, guys. You take
Thanks,
care.
guys.
Have a good night.